Welcome back to the Coaches Show. I'm Brian Stanley. This is week 11 in high school football. And joining me, as always, is your head coach of the Mission Prep Royals, David Schuster. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good, surviving.
Surviving we are. We have a busy schedule of my agenda. I didn't give you any insight this week, so we're going to run through it. Let's first talk about the big win over the Righetti Warriors. Improving the squad to 7-2, 5-1 in Mountain League play. That was a 21-12 homecoming win to give the Royals a 4-1 finish at Spano Stadium this season. We had 2 touchdowns by Jaden Oziel, with a 12-yard touchdown rush, and then an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown, pretty much on the next sequence of plays from Righetti, and then Drew Harrigan rushed for a 53-yard score, finishing with 144 yards. That's my summary. Coach, let's get your summary.
Yeah, I thought it was I was really pleased with the number of things in the game. Thought the biggest issue we had was we had some self-inflicted mistakes. But everything we wanted was there, and we got big yards, and we kind of, we took care of the ball for the most part. Felt like defensively, the kids executed the game plan pretty well. They started kind of exposing, kind of working some things in the passing game that we quickly adjusted to, and I was happy with our adjustments, and so we were in control the whole night. We would have liked a bigger score, I guess, but a lot of that was Righetti did a good job of taking a couple things away, and then we had some dumb mistakes that are going to get cleaned up, and so overall, I was really happy with kind of how the night went.
So in the last 2 weeks, Coach, we've seen 2 things from this squad that we haven't seen. Against Oro Grande, we saw a field goal for the first time, and against Righetti, we saw a punt return for the first time. We're starting to see aspects of the game develop outside the pass run game with your squad. How good is it to see that open up?
You mean a punt return for a touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, punt return for a touchdown. I should have clarified. I skipped over the crucial detail there. Yes.
I was like, we've had a lot of punt returns this year.
Yeah, a lot of punt returns, but the first one for the touchdown. So you're getting points elsewhere on the field, which is opening up the game just a little bit.
Yeah, it's becoming a whole team effort, which for us to have any success this year is really what we're going to have to need anyway. And so, I felt like defensively we've been pretty solid all year. Offensively has been a little hit and miss, but we're getting consistently better, and I'm really happy with kind of where they're at right now. And then special teams last several weeks has been really, really key with a number of, maybe they're not touchdowns, but we're getting some big returns on kickoff and on punt return. Our kicking is they're doing, Cash is really just doing a nice job of putting the ball exactly where he's intending it to be, and that's given our kickoff and our punt team a chance to kind of get down there and do what they're supposed to do. And then we had a couple of field goal blocks against AG, and we emphasize special teams a lot, and so I'm happy to see it kind of coming into fruition a little bit, where we're putting in all this work and we're now starting to see the fruit of our labor a little bit. So I think the staff has done a great job. Coach Terry and Coach Palomino have really done a good job of getting special teams moving, and so I'm very happy with where that's at.
And our player of the game went to Jaden Oziel for his 2 touchdowns, especially finding that seam on the punt return for the score, and being able to break off for that 82 yards. And Coach, this game also saw quite a few other accolades handed out. Before the game, we saw Luke Terry, team captain, get awarded Homecoming King. And I want to get your thoughts on that before I move on to the next accolade that we had handed out after the game.
Yeah. There's been some good ribbing and some good back and forth on the team, because Drew Harrigan was also up for it too, and Luke beat Drew, which is, we're all having some fun at Drew's expense. Um, you know, but yeah, I mean, Luke is he's an incredible kid. He's been a phenomenal leader, and I think the way the school feels about him, and just the type of kid he is, he's funny, he's great, great one-to-one, conversationally, man. He's really just he's turned into a great kid to talk to. He was pretty quiet the first couple of years when he was here, and it's been awesome kind of watching him sort of uh, kind of blossom out of his shell a little bit, and become the special young man that he is, and he's very popular on campus, and so I'm very happy to see that, and very happy for him, and great night.
Great night. And then following the game, since you picked up the 21-12 victory with the squad, you yourself improved to the all-time winningest coach in football history at Mission College Prep. 52 wins under your belt, surpassing Chad Henry, who you were tied with at 51. And all this information was verified by Darnell Harris, who dug through the record books to confirm all the numbers throughout the histories.
Well, yeah, it's I guess I'd start off by saying I got great respect for Chad Henry. We're two very, very different coaches. We have two very, very different philosophies, but the common link that we have is we both took over programs in unique and tough circumstances. And so he took the program and did some very impressive things with it that had never really been done before at Mission. And that allowed me, even though it kind of fell apart at the very end, it gave me the opportunity to then sort of kind of build off of what he had built there as well. And so there was an expectation for having success in the football program, and that was pretty important for us when we got going. And the other thing I'd say is I've been very fortunate that I've had a number of really, really key coaches and some great support from teachers and administrators. The community has actively supported my vision for this from the get-go, and whenever we've needed something, the community, the administration, everyone is actively supported behind the scenes to just to continue to kind of boost us and push us where we needed it. That remains the case, and it's why part of the reason why I love being here so much. And then the last thing I'd say is, I've been very fortunate that I've had a number of kids that all bought into this vision of a blue collar, warrior, tough man of Christ, and executing those things on the field as well. And it's enabled us to coach some phenomenal kids, to get the best out of those kids, and it's given us great success on the field. And we're certainly not done. So it's been a wonderful and magical 52 wins, I guess. So
Yes, 52.
yeah, and hopeful for a lot more. So.
Well, Coach, I'm happy to be along for the ride. I got to be a part of 2 milestones here at Mission Prep, being a broadcaster with the squads. And the first was the 300th win for Terrence Harris in the basketball realm, and now to be with you for your 52nd win, being the all-time winningest coach, a record that you're just going to continue to build on, that somebody else is going to have to chase down. So I'm happy to be along for the ride, and congratulations.
I appreciate it, and very happy you've been a part of the ride, and that you're part of the brotherhood and everything that we're doing here. And again, I'm so thankful to so many people that have actively supported me and this program. And it's never just the coach. It's the entire community and the entire team. And last thing I'll say, I learned this a long time ago: coaches don't win games, players do. Coaches can certainly lose games though. So been very fortunate.
And let's move on to the big elephant in the room this week, the St. Joseph Knights. This is a big game because this is for second place. This is for bragging rights, as Arroyo Grande's ran away with the title already, and they've already I guess celebrated. You got the St. Joseph Knights. We're traveling to J. Will Stadium this Friday night with a 7 o'clock kickoff. Last year, it was for the league title at home in a 49-21 loss. And I'm coming out of that game with 4 players, Coach, that I see as impact, 2 from each side coming back this year. And I'm going to give them to you, and then we'll get your thoughts here. And for your squad, I see Drew Harrigan and Connor Lopez being huge impacts coming out of last year's game. And then for St. Joseph, I see Carter Vargas and Colin Foss being huge impacts for them coming out of last year's game.
Yeah, you're not wrong about any of that. Colin Fassey is an incredible kid. I got a lot of respect for him. Actually, I got a lot of love for that kid. Actually, known him since before he was in high school. So, been they have a phenomenal roster, man. There's really no other way to say it. That roster and the team that they have is absolutely incredible. They're right there athletically with Bishop Diego, and I'd say Bishop's probably the most athletic, most physically dominant team we've seen all year. AG was the strongest, and St. Joe's looks to be in that same realm with Bishop Diego, man. They can do so many things, man, and just incredibly impressed with what I'm seeing on film, and it's going to be a monumental task trying to contain Vargas. He's a phenomenal running back, man. He makes everybody miss. His straight line burst is impressive. His side to side agility is equally as impressive. He's very physical when he makes contact. So he's kind of got all the elements of a great running back there. So and he gave us problems last year, and I would expect that's probably going to be again the case again this year. So we're going to have to play phenomenal football. We're going to have to really do an incredible job tackling. We can't tackle high. We've got to be tracking the hip and doing a great job with that, and taking away his space. But I'll say this, man, everyone's kind of making hey, you're going to compete for second place. I don't know that it would really matter. There's obviously some great energy between the two schools. I think there's a lot of respect between the two programs, but there's obviously some serious energy between Mission and St. Joe's for all sports, not just football, but it's really kind of magnified with football, and which is awesome. Those games are so much fun to compete in, and so I've been really, really happy with how the team has practiced this week. They've really done a great job, and I'm excited to get on the field and see what this looks like on Friday, because I think it's gonna be good.
You say there's an energy, and I texted you this week asking you if you had any input to a rivalry name. I'm not going to ask you to throw any out today, but I bring this up to allow the audience to comment below if they have any suggestions for a possible rivalry name for the St. Joseph Mission Prep rivalry that extends beyond football into basketball, baseball, and other sports. I'm just curious what the fans could come up with. So let's not taint the pool, Coach, and give them our insights of what we've come up with, and just let it ride. And I want to touch bases on CalPreps. I know this is a site you're a fan of. They have a projection of St. Joseph 21-7 with an 81% odds. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that's a little weighted, a little too heavy in one direction?
Well,
because I do. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, CalPreps, they're actually crazy. They're pretty accurate on a number of things. They get probably 75 to 80% of those games correct each week, especially the later the season goes. But I also know I've been on both ends of this, where we went in and we were clearly projected to win and lost, and then vice versa, where we were clearly projected to lose and won. I think most famously for us would be 2021. We were predicted to lose pretty badly to Lemoore in playoffs, and obviously we beat them in at their place. And same thing last year. I think it was Paso the first time. I mean, we've had a few projections where you just kind of go in and CalPreps is working off of data that they have. They don't know all the stories of, what everyone's roster looks like, who's healthy, who's not healthy. They're just taking data trends and putting it together. And so, I mean, that might be the score. That there've been a few. I think CalPreps actually. Oh, what game was it? I think Lompoc. I think perfectly predicted the score on that one, 1914. And so yeah, I mean there's no question. We're up against it with St. Joe's. We're gonna have to play incredible football. That roster is huge, man. They're up front. Those guys are they are massive. They're physical. They protect their gaps well. There's not a whole lot of that quarterback. All their quarterbacks, they rotate their quarterbacks, but all those guys are consistently with clean pockets and doing great things. And then when you add a weapon like Colin out there, it's a lot to try to defend, man. So we struggled with it last year. We're hopeful for a better outcome this year, but it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. We're going to see what happens this Friday, live from J. Will Stadium on the campus of St. Joseph High School here in my hometown, Santa Maria, on Prep Sports Network. You're going to want to join us live. It's going to be the hottest ticket on the Central Coast. Coach, if people want to follow you on Twitter X, they can find you at Coach_D Schuster and your football squad, MCP Football. You can follow me, Stanley, on sports and Prep Sports Network at the Prep SN. Our next coaches show, we'll be talking playoffs because playoffs will be coming up, and I love to talk playoffs. We'll have a bracket laid out. We'll know who's going where. Hopefully, we'll have a top seed or a high seed, and we'll have a first round home game. We don't know. We're just all hopeful, fingers crossed for all the best.
Mm-hmm.
A coach said he wasn't going to talk playoffs this week, so I'm just dancing around the bush. And coming up this Friday, October 27th, as Coach has company in the office, our kickoff 7 p.m. Like I said, this battle you're not going to want to miss. St. Joseph Knights versus the Mission Prep Royals. Mountain League action right here on PSNtv. Coach, any final words?
I'm excited, man. It's a great week. It's a great opponent, great chance to compete and do something special on Friday night. So hope to see everybody there, and yeah, excited.
It's a great way to end the regular season as we walk out of this show. Walk worthy. We'll see you next time.